Hey everybody, Emmett Ferguson here, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Brooks Ghost 12s and the Brooks Aurora BLs. So these Brooks Aurora BLs, and I want to preface this by saying I've run in both shoes and I have a bit of a wider foot. So if you've ever worn Brooks Ghost 12s, there's a possible chance that your feet will not feel comfortable in the Brooks Aurora BLs. Now, I want to preface this by saying, like, size-wise, these are shoes for very different feet. And unless you have like a super average foot where your foot could kind of fit in multiple types of shoes, like just straight in the middle, you know, you've got like the perfect arch, the most average arch, the most average width and everything, then you could probably fit in both. But I'm more flat-footed, and which, you know, I need a better support on the inside, and I also have like a wider foot in the middle. And where this really shows up as I'm wearing these shoes is that with this shoe, as you could tell, there's a little bit of a pit, like it's a really narrow. It's hard to see on camera, but it's much narrower on the middle. As you can see, this side pinches in a significant amount. It's a very significant pinch on the interior, and you can really feel that as you're running. However, I will say that if you're not running, these shoes are incredibly comfortable. They feel absolutely amazing, and I'm going to talk more about it in a minute. This is why I kept these shoes. I probably could have returned them, but I had them sitting around for like 2 weeks or a month before I really started running them. And then, you know, all of that, and I started wearing them out, and I thought they looked really cool, so I decided to keep them, although they are relatively expensive and you probably want to use them for running. But anyway, that said, Brooks Ghost 12s versus the Aurora BLs. You know, 100% the Brooks Ghost 12s have fit my feet better, and my feet don't ache while running. Of course, it was probably designed that way for people with wider feet or whatever. But what I got out of the Brooks Ghost 12, I mean, initially, just first opinions, when I first started running in these, I put about 450 miles on them so far, maybe 500 between walking, running, and just regular exercise. This does a great job when you first start running in the Brooks of helping you, I would say, run a little bit faster, because of however it's designed, however this part, the bottom part of the shoe is designed, it just grips onto the street or concrete, or concrete, sidewalk, turf, whatever it is that you run on, and it grips very well, and it just helps to propel you forward. It's like each little piece that you roll on, like as you're rolling, as you're running. I know there's like a running science where you're not supposed to step with your heel, but you know, that's something that I haven't been able to overcome. So, you know, I tend to land with, like, you know, the middle of my foot, the back middle of my foot, or the heel sometimes, something I'm working on. But anyway, that said, as you're rolling forward, it definitely does a great job of helping push against the ground. I don't know how they do it, you know, as the rubber meets the road, but whatever they do, it just has this just propelling sensation that makes your feet feel sticky to the ground, but as you're rolling, it just kind of like pushes you forward. That part of it, that design element, blew my mind when I first started running in these Ghost 12s. Hopefully they kept them in like the later Ghosts. I haven't gotten the 14, or I think they're maybe even up to 16 now or whatever. But as far as the Aurora BL goes, as far as this review goes, I can't give it a super fair evaluation, because when I run, these really hurt my feet, and it's not about breaking them in. I've had other shoes where I've broken them in and they feel absolutely fine, but it's unusual, because if I wear these on a regular day-to-day basis, and I just wear them for walking, or like going to the gym or whatever, or, you know, doing bicycle, or doing like a Stairmaster, it doesn't hurt. But for whatever reason, the running, when I put a ton of pressure, the mid part of my foot, the mid arc of my foot, really starts to feel the pain. And I really, my guess is because of this design of how it's pinched here into the center, and I think it's designed for a much narrower foot, and that's my guess. But as you can tell, you know, it is a significantly more narrow, and it pinches in significantly there. So if you've got a narrow foot and you're watching this video, then this might just be the right shoe for you. And I mean narrow around the arch. But as far as as far as how it feels, I mean, just looking at this design, I mean, it's a little bit different, right? They've got, for whatever this part is supposed to do, maybe help you, help give some space as your foot moves, you know, because it moves apart easier. And maybe that's like a springy action. On top of that, you can also tell really easily that it has a bigger heel, a significantly bigger heel. So if you do have challenges with, you know, landing on your heel, which can be bad because it puts a lot of pressure on the bone down there. If you do have a problem with that, this might be a great shoe for you. So if you've got a narrower foot right around the mid area, and you've got and you land on a heel a lot, and that's maybe causing you pain in your heels, your ankles, or whatever, then you might want a shoe that has some extra cushion back there. And there are some like I've seen some hardcore runners. I was doing the David Goggins 4x4x48 challenge that's run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And on the very last day, David Goggins was in Costa Mesa, and I went to do that run because he was there. So I ran with him on the last leg. Oh, I did all of them, but I also ran on the last one. And there was one guy there who was running with no shoes. I don't know if he did all 48 miles without any shoes, but he definitely ran really quickly with no shoes on, and that blew my mind. So with that said, there's some hardcore runners. The shoe does not make the runner, but a shoe can definitely help someone who is either not a good runner become better, or a person who is a great runner and just helps them, give them that extra mileage. But with that said, you know, according to running science, right, there's this idea of not landing on your heel, and because it can be bad for your bones. And if you ever watch some YouTube videos, you'll see that's a lot of like really elite runners or whatever, people that have super trained, tend to land like, I don't know how they do it, on their toes, and they just keep going. I don't know how that works. I've tried to figure it out, but it just doesn't work for me. So I tend to land with the back of my foot. Anyway, that said, the Ghost 12s have been fantastic for that. It fits pretty true to size. Both of these fit pretty true to size, except again, it's the foot width that counts for these two, whether you're looking at the Ghosts or the Auroras. So that said, the Auroras are definitely designed for a very specific foot, whereas I think the Brooks Ghost 12s are probably more general in nature. But with that, both pretty good shoes. You know, when I was running in these, I definitely noticed that they felt good on my feet, probably because I do heel strike, and these probably helped with that. And again, these are super comfortable. They're very breathable. As you can see right there, that's all. Besides this mesh that's right on top, it's very, very breathable. So you get a lot of airflow into your shoe. Now, the only trouble with that is if it rains or something, or you accidentally walk in a puddle, you're definitely going to get a lot of water inside. But you know, the Brooks Ghost 12s, you know, they don't have that same mesh design, but they're totally comfortable. They hug your feet, and there's a little more cushion all around. Whereas I think these were definitely designed much more for the thin-footed runner. And it's got a lot of other design things that I think are pretty neat. As you could tell, this is like a standard tongue on the shoe, on the Ghosts, and that's probably just, you know, design choice. I don't know exactly what the science is behind the standard tongue and the Brooks. Some shoes have these like, I don't want to call them flimsy, but the tongues that are like just a thin fabric as opposed to like a solid one. Maybe that helps your feet get more flexibility. Maybe it helps reduce the weight of the shoe. Those are some of my guesses, while also like keeping your foot flexible and all that. Those are just my guesses as to the reasons for that design, because ultimately runners, I mean, the real people the runners, very elite runners or whatever, probably want a shoe that is as lightweight as possible, that gives them as much propulsion and science behind running as possible, as closely designed, customized to their foot as possible. So with that said, I mean, besides that, as far as colors go, I remember reading some reviews on Brooks Ghost 12 where people were complaining that the colors were kind of bland. You know, there's a pretty generic color, blue and gold. I like it, but you know, others want some more flashy colors, and I think Brooks really took that to heart, and they made some different colors for the Ghost, but the Aurora BL, I mean, this is just an awesome color. Like every time I wear these, people are like, oh, this is a cool color. That's a fun shoe, or your shoe looks so futuristic. So, you know, I decided to keep these, even though they were pretty expensive, and I can't wear them for running. Like literally, like they just, after a half mile, they start killing my feet. So, but again, they look so cool, and I wish my feet were narrower. I love my feet the way they are, but if they were narrower, I could be able to wear these. But besides that, breathability, lightweight. I don't know the exact weight of these two shoes. I'm thinking maybe this one is a little lighter, and it's got some more cushion on the bottom for runners. And the underside of the shoe has a different traction style. I've seen these types of designs on quite a few shoes where it's kind of like a lines across. This had a lot more like little grooves and stuff. In my opinion, based on my experience with the Ghost 12s, I mean, I absolutely love the traction that I got from this shoe, but they did wear down relatively quickly. Like within the first 100 to 200 miles, I could start to see a lot of wear, which I think most shoes do. But the amount of traction that you get, the trade-off for that is it only lasts for, you know, obviously a limited amount of time if you're running. But totally, I mean, these are some amazing shoes. This is DNA Loft. This is DNA Loft technology. I don't really know what that means. And then this is DNA Loft technology V3. But overall, just totally great shoes. Brooks has some great ones. And with that said, thank you for watching this video. Hope you find the right shoe for you, and hope this video is helpful, and have a wonderful day.